I should do a little warning. Been terribly sick this week, and I don't think either of us have really had that great of a week since we recorded, and it's
Not
just
much.
been ooh, and also setting up today was just fun. So here's my excuse for the episode. We love you guys. Hello everyone. I'm Willem,
And I'm Tim.
and this is Hear Me Out Pitch. Ah.
Oh,
Ah.
oh,
Ah.
oh.
Hope you're all doing good, everyone. It is a dark. I called it last week. Daylight savings has ended, and we just got hit with the darkness. It's terrible here.
Mhm.
I hate it. I hate it so much. So much, in fact, that I just want to cry. But anyway, hope you're all doing good. And
Well, that's one way to transition into that.
I mean, it was a very dark and brooding movie this week, and it was
Yeah, it was.
it was really like over the edge. It's not the movie that we wanted, but it was the movie we deserved. And no, it wasn't Batman. But funny enough, an actor from not Dark Side, The Dark Knight was in it. So can't remember his name, but good old Harvey Dent, Two-Face.
Ba-ting.
Ba-ching. I could be brown, I could be blue. That's good. It's scary. Man, I'm doing pretty good with these on my head. It's freaking me out.
You
It's
have
like,
a lot of songs stuck in your head.
I do. And now that I have headphones on my head, I can be like, I can tell if we sound stupid. But I always sound stupid, so it's fine. But anyway, the movie that we are not reviewing, kind of reviewing, if we are really going to talk about a review, I give it a solid 4.
2.
2 out of 5 or 2 out of 10?
2 out of 5.
Okay, so I said a 4 out of 10. So
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
Same. Okay, yeah, it just wasn't that.
It was cool in concept. Execution, like most of the movies we watch, kind of sucked poop.
It did, and
It was terrible.
It really was. But Frankenstein, that was the movie we did. It was the 2014. I remember seeing it briefly, and it looked cool. The only thing I remember about it was I loved his outfit, because Frankenstein, it's monster. Sorry, two different things. Frankenstein's monster, is in the modern day, and he's fighting demons and gargoyles. Ugh.
Yeah, that was weird. And gargoyles and I don't know.
I was about to ask, like, how would you summarize it in like 2 minutes? Not even just brief summary. Go.
Okay. Take the original Mary Shelley Frankenstein.
Okay.
That whole story. This happens directly after that book ends.
Okay, I like that.
He's burying the monster buries Victor Frankenstein, and then is attacked by demons, and he ends up killing some demons, and then these gargoyles show up in like a human form, and they kill other demons, and then they take the monster to their fortress, which admittedly their citadel looked really cool.
And I know you liked the leader of the gargoyles, so
Yeah, well, the actress that plays the queen of the gargoyles is the same actress that plays Eowyn in Lord of the Rings. She did a pretty good job. The acting, for the most part, was subpar. A few actors played their part really, really well, but most of them didn't.
I mean, Bill Nye as Naberius, the demon prince, like it was cheesy at some points, but really he's just a sinister dude.
Yeah. I will say this movie was so cheesy. I swear I'm still constipated. It was so bad. It was so cheesy.
It was cheesy. It was really weird to be like, why? Because yeah, keep. And I know I told Tim to summarize, but now we're like, we'll just summarize. But yeah, he meets the queen of the uh
The gargoyles.
gargoyles, which they are sent to fight demons. They are the connection of humans to the angels, and it was a very weird thing. And I was like, I don't know, I really didn't like the gargoyles in it.
I didn't care for it either. Like it was honestly the concept is fun, but I don't feel like it fits very well. And that might just be our traditional view of angels and demons as described by Dan Brown um, in his book. And also just like the idea that in the Bible it was the angels and the demons.
So it's weird having a third party of gargoyles. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've never heard
And
this.
like
I guess
it's a neat concept. You know, the gargoyles are the protectors where the angels cannot be. But at the same time, I don't know. And there was this whole thing where when you kill a demon, it loses its corporeal form and it becomes just a spirit in the underworld, and it can't come back.
it descends.
And it's basically it's stuck, and
Yeah.
it can't come back and fight anymore.
And gargoyles are the same.
And gargoyles
They
are the
ascend.
same.
And it's
It's interesting to me that I don't know. And then there was this whole thing where in the modern times they're using ancient weapons like axes and things. And I'm like, so but one of the concepts in order to kill a demon, in order to descend a demon, you have to hit it with a weapon that has the symbol of the gargoyles carved into it. The symbol is basically a cross with 2 extra horizontal lines added into it.
So think of like a big letter T, and then just 2 extra T-bars.
2 extra lines across
Yeah.
below it. And my comment is, why aren't they using modern weapons?
Like a bullet.
Like carve that stupid freaking symbol into a bullet,
And you'd be
into a
fine.
bullet head,
It'd be great.
right? And yeah, I mean, isn't that how you kill the demons? How you get rid of them?
And
A bullet's gonna be a lot more deadly than
it's gonna be mighty
a
efficient.
knife.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to be close to a demon. I want to be able to get it far away. It's like, fine, whatever. It's stronger than me, which always makes me laugh because gargoyles can only be killed by those without souls, which imply that demons do have souls, which made me like think even more into physiology or whatever, theology.
No, they can only be killed by those that don't have souls, and demons can kill them. Demons were killing them. They were killing each other.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, that is right. I'm like, they never showed them. Oh, they did.
Yeah.
That's right, because they
There's that
invaded. Okay.
big
Okay.
invasion battle thing.
Yes. Frankenstein's monster is named Adam by Queen Leonore.
Yeah, Queen Leonore.
Names him, and I was like, that's
The
clever.
name it was clever. Her name bugs me a little bit because
Why?
when I hear the name Leonore, it makes me think of like a fat old lady, you know?
I think of Leopold. So kind of a fat old man.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. It just carries that. And I apologize to anybody who knows anybody that knows a Leonore. I just, in my own personal experience, that's what it's been. And so, I don't know. And I've only met a handful, and most of them are really, really old women. And I don't know. It bugs
I've never met it. Like a Lenore?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I guess this is a weird take on. Like, here's how
I don't
it's
know.
spelled. But I guess it is like a different take on, because I hear Lenore and I think of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven,
Yeah.
because he's crying to his wife Lenore, and it's like, oh, Lenore, Lenore, or I think of King of the Hill, but that's,
Uh,
but again, like just not that, not the queen of the, anyway. So Adam is in the middle of this whole thing. He is introduced to the gargoyles and introduced to their holy war. He goes, nah, fam, I don't want this. And he goes
I'm
off for
good.
200 years and he gets a haircut and he gets modern clothes and he chose these two big heavy sticks that the gargoyles were like, oh, you need to be very strong to use those. Yes. I don't know why they're sassy, but they just are. And 200 years goes by, and a doctor named Dr. Tara, who's played by, I can never say her name right, but it's Yvonne Strahovski. I don't know. She is also in, I don't even know. She's in. Oh, she's the woman from Chuck. I love her. She's 41. Oh my gosh. She's adorable. I love her so much. Anyway, and then Aaron Eckhart, he's Adam, Two-Face from The Dark Knight. Love him. He's great. Kind of a yeah. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so 200 years goes by, and Frankenstein is still hunting him down, and he's kind of doing his own thing, and he's just hunting demons down. He's doing it in his own time, and what kind of causes this movie to start is he tried to kill a demon in broad daylight, not in broad daylight, but in public. Corners a guy tries to get a demon at a club. The demon gets out, and they all kind of crowd at him in an alleyway. But a police officer, a human officer, noticed, and throughout the conflict, he's killing all the demons, and the officer is killed by a different demon. And it's just, because that was the only time we ever see them really interact with humans, except for the two doctors.
And I would have liked to see more human interaction.
And then they're all mad, like, we just interact in the shadows. We do not go out blatantly. And you're like, you are giant stone gargoyles. I mean, it was cool because whenever they flew, they were silent, which I was like, that's pretty scary. That you're like, la, 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 la. And all of a sudden a gargoyle picks you up and you're like, oh, we going to drop the ring at Mordor or what? Like, it's just great. It's so quiet. Isildur, throw it away.
Cast it into the fire.
No, I want to eat it. Anyway. Bill Nye plays Nibirius, a demon prince who Adam is after. The gargoyles are after him. He has a plan to make a bunch of bodies be reanimated via Dr. Frankenstein's formula and have souls of the demons go back into them. And you're like, what?
I do need to point out, he's not saying Bill Nye as in the science guy.
I'm saying Bill Nye as in, sorry, Bill Nye. I don't know, like it's spelled Nighy. He's Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean 3. Do you fear death? Like that guy. So
do you fear death?
Do you fear death? And loves to like do the little pop thing. He did a great job. I loved him. He really kills it. And again, he was in the if you guys listened to my top 10 movies from last week, he was in Love About Time, and he's the father of the main character. Super sweet. So seeing him be super loving father to being this creepy demon prince.
Being Davy Jones.
Being Davy Jones. Like, he really does talk like that. I was expecting him at one point to just seriously go, do you fear death? Like, it just fit. I was like, I kept saying it. Tim was like, stop.
No, I was saying it with you. I was not telling you to stop. I was encouraging it.
Okay, good. Sometimes I feel like he's just like, no, I can't believe I do this with you. Oh. Just mosquito. Oh, wow. So back to it. The main plot, the main big thing that's going to happen is Prince Nibirius wants to reanimate souls. He has this wonderful human doctor who's been trying for it. and she like it shows her trying to reanimate a rat, and they actually get it. It made me really sad because this poor little rat was in this chamber, tied up, cut open. You can see that she had put new organs in it, and she like shocked it, and her assistant was like, "Oh, we can do it." It's like, okay, and it just, oh, so gruesome. It was gruesome, but we loved it. I think the idea of what would happen if we reanimated bodies, what would happen for those of you who are not religious or whatever, I've always found it kind of creepy. Like, I would love a horror movie of people making clones, and then when when the clones open their eyes, they're just these black, like, think of, what was that show called? With the Winchester brothers. Oh my, Supernatural. You know, demons just have pure black eyes. I've always wanted to see like a movie like, oh my gosh, we did cloning, it's successful, hooray! And then the clone opens its eyes and it's just black slits, and they're like, thank you so much. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I don't know. So I've kind of thought like that was kind of what they were going for. They were, but it just again, I think the acting ruined this movie, which was so shocking because Aaron Eckhart can really kill it as a role. We saw him as Harry, I mean, not Harry, as Harvey in The Dark Knight. And I feel like he was just trying to be Two-Face the whole dang time, like a Two-Face Batman dude. Because he literally, like, I just expected Adam, I want to call him Frankenstein. And I guess technically that is his last name because he's the son of Frankenstein. But I just expected him to just go vengeance half the time. Just
It was, yeah, it was very interesting watching and seeing just I don't know, the Batman of the actor come out in this movie, and like I said, it was such a cheesy movie, and I don't know, it just the way that he performed and the way he said things, like half the time it was just the cheesiest garbage that made me want to throw up inside my mouth a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's just so cheesy, it's terrible. It's not, I don't know, because there's a level of cheesiness that you can achieve in a movie and it can be a decent movie still. That threshold was crossed within the first 20 minutes of the movie, and it was too cheesy.
I wouldn't mind a longer Frankenstein's monster beginning, go into the story, show him, because they showed him killing Frankenstein's wife, his new bride, and I really wish they would have emphasized that he did want love, because that was something
That was honestly, so if you haven't read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein,
highly recommend.
it's a really good story. Super good story. Basically, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein to be a creature, but also with a level of humanity. And he just basically, a lot of it was he desired a bride. And like some of the biggest parts of the plot were of her book was, right, Victor Frankenstein married his best friend Elizabeth and refused to make, he promised the monster a bride, and then he went back on his promise. He backed out because he was like, I've seen what you can do, and that terrifies me. I don't need another one of you and potentially many versions of you running around this world. I'm not going to do it. And so the monster gets revenge by killing Victor Frankenstein's wife. And he's apologizing for it. Like, he's sad that he has to do it, but he's like, if I don't deserve love, neither does he, kind of thing.
And they kind of emphasize that in the movie, because
they show that scene, and they show some of the big points. The book comes to an end the way that Mary Shelley wrote it is it was a guy came across Victor Frankenstein, and
Yep.
Victor Frankenstein was telling him his story.
Yeah.
And the book she wrote, the ending she wrote for the book is Victor Frankenstein leaves, chasing after his monster
Yeah.
in the Arctic, and he's never seen again. This movie starts with that, and it explains that Victor froze to death before the monster could kill him, and and the monster takes him and buries him in his family in the family graveyard, which is more than he deserved according to the monster. Um, but that little bit, that's all we really see of the monster's backstory. That's all we really see of his passions, the reason he's doing things. He's doing what he does. And it's just kind of, I wish, like you said, I wish we would have had a little bit more of a tie into Mary Shelley's story with seeing with seeing Adam the monster wanting a bride.
Or
Like
even
really
just,
all he wants is love.
yeah, he wants something. He
Mm-hmm.
has human emotions. I think a lot of the gothic uh, stories of the time, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Time Machine, um, The Invisible Man, and Frankenstein, when Frankenstein is earlier than all these guys, she is the mother of science fiction. She is awesome. We should be like
Uh-huh.
thanking her, and she should have gotten way more recognition. And
She created one of the most iconic monsters in all of history.
it's about the duality of man for the most part of all these. That was kind of the big thing during the late 1700s to the 1800s, was kind of our interest in what we could do. Before the Great War, we were just having these minor conflicts, blah, 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 living our own in the world. And I think a lot of people were just wondering, like, what makes a man and what makes us human. We've talked about duality a lot, and I wish we would have seen that in this movie, because they had demons and they had good. And I think we should pause with this thought and go really
Mhm.
quick with the summary, because, or at least just kind of end the summary. And to briefly end the summary is Doctor and Adam kind of become acquainted. They are tricked by the demons to work together so that they can be brought to the headquarters of Nibirius, start this giant machine. The gargoyles think that Frankenstein's monster is evil because many of them were against it. This one gargoyle named Gideon was always against it, gets killed by accident by Frankenstein while attacking him.
Not really on accident.
Yeah,
It was
I
more
guess
he
you're
was
right.
attacking Adam, and Adam in self-defense was like, ha, bye. I
Hi,
don't have a
I
soul.
don't have a soul.
I can kill you, kind of
Which,
thing.
that, we'll get to that. And at the end of the
Mm.
movie, all the souls are coming up, and Tiberius has Adam, and he pulls one soul up from hell, and it goes into Adam, and he goes, "Rise, my child, you will be great in this exquisite body." And Adam is like, "Nope, it ain't gonna work on me." It turns out Adam had a soul the whole time, and it was like, what? But he was made by a man. How is this possible? And they never go into it. Adam just has a soul, and I was like,
Yeah.
but that,
And
what?
like I'm wondering if the concept wasn't like the idea wasn't that they wanted it to be that Adam had proved himself worthy of a soul and had basically made himself a soul.
But yet he.
I don't know. It was weird.
That's exactly the issue. It's like I don't know what is going on, but with that, gives the killing blow to Nibirius. He descends, and since he's a prince of hell, his descent is so great into hell that it destroys the machine because they were conveniently fighting on top of the machine. And the movie ends with him just being like, I will protect. I will do my father's bidding. I will be the better man because I am like what is it? It ends with like I Frankenstein, and I was
and it
like,
was so stupid.
oh
Again,
gosh,
all the cheese.
the cheese.
I am so freaking blocked up because of this movie.
Damn.
I don't know if you understand how much cheese this movie really was, guys.
If you are
it was
lactose
so
intolerant,
bad.
please
Do not
watch
avoid this movie.
Avoid
it.
it.
Will kill you.
You just watch the trailer, your stomach. Oh gosh, my tummy bubbling.
Yeah. Anyway, fun fact. I was just looking up the purpose of a gargoyle, why they were invented. Couple fun things.
Okay.
Fact number one, is really fun actually.
Oh.
At the Washington National Cathedral, in DC, they've carved a gargoyle, and they have gargoyles carved, right? And one of the gargoyles they have is Darth Vader.
Oh, well, that's
like,
cool.
Legitimately, there's a Darth Vader gargoyle. It's pretty cool. Anyway, the purpose of the gargoyles apparently was that they were meant to inspire fear in churchgoers.
Yeah.
And church leaders hoped that the gargoyles would attract pagans and help convert them, I guess.
Hooray for Gothic era.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's like...
But that means they weren't that old. And gargoyles aren't old. They're not as old as angels and demons. They literally... Well, I mean, to me, it just feels like they're trying to say that they're holy demons because there are fallen angels, and fallen angels are supposed to be a different thing than demons. And it just, it gets sloppy. Theology is so great.
We can end the episode right now by just saying the movie's dumb.
The movie dumb. The movie dumb. Yeah, that's what we joked about. Just like, thank you, and yeah, that'll be the shortest episode, less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Debating on it. Just here we go. This is it. We'll see you later, pitches. I'm just kidding. I actually do want to talk a few things about, because I think that's the challenge of this, and this is why we did this podcast, is that we can say, all right, here's this lame movie. What can we do to change it? And the thing is, I tried looking up the I, Frankenstein graphic novel that supposedly this is based off of, and I couldn't find it. So guess what? Most of you probably haven't seen it. None of you probably care for this movie.
None of you are probably going to see it at any point.
But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you that love Frankenstein and his monster and love the idea of the duality of man. And I feel like this movie, if we would have just added... even just Adam first rising as Frankenstein. Like, I've always imagined if I were to do a Frankenstein, the lightning would strike. We'll say, it was really cool how he used eels in this movie. That was the process.
I thought that was kind of cool.
It was cool.
I thought it was cool.
There were a lot of little things. I was like, that is so cool. And the gargoyles, when they would transform and their wings become a cloak.
The transformation was awesome.
They were crisp and clean, and it was cool, but gargoyles don't make sense.
They spent the entire budget on the transformation of the gargoyles and left the rest to...
And it stinks because we had some heavy-hitting actors, but they just, didn't have their hearts into it. I'm like...
Yeah, it was kind of depressing.
I would have had the writer of Rohan, what's his name? I can't think of the actor right now, but I would have had him be Frankenstein's monster. You know what I'm talking about? Carl Urban, who I'm very excited because he's probably going to be Johnny Cage in the new Mortal Kombat movie. So yeah, and I love Karen Fukunaga. Love this show. Super good. Kind of intense, though. It's going to be a while before I really try to watch it again. Anyway. But Carl Urban is probably who I would have picked. Because it would have been funny to see those two Lord of the Rings actors.
It would have been funny. It's like the same thing with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson.
Oh,
How they're
no,
always
don't.
how they're
Oh,
always in movies together.
stop. Sorry, I love those two both, but I don't think they're that. I mean, maybe I'm just prejudiced, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they try to play their two characters in every single movie.
No matter,
Anyway, we're not talking about them.
We're not. We're not. Everything always comes back to Thor: Love and Thunder. That's just it.
Does,
The
honestly.
KOYTT, funny enough, I see enough posts that they say he is a director that successfully brought the hype to Marvel so much and then somehow ruined it. And it's just like facts.
Uh-huh.
Anyway. But I would have loved to see at the beginning of the movie, lightning strikes, it goes down, the body writhes, it just starts wiggling, and Dr. Frankenstein's, it's alive! And it dies. It just gives up the ghost. And he buries it, and, he's heartbroken, and then just fist comes out of the ground. And it's just screaming. Just, it's a monster. And it's just like terrified and scared. And then slow. And like that would have been the movie it started. And then like, I came from the ground, scared and confused. And it just goes into the story of Mary Shelley talks about it. I only wished.
How he learns to talk, how he learns to read.
All that. Like all these things. Like my father surely did love me, but he could never look me in the eye. And like all these things. And I wish they would have made Frankenstein's monster more grotesque in this movie.
Yeah, he looked way too human.
You should look up I don't know, it's not Broadway because it's a play, but it was the two actors who played Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch and the
Robert Downey Jr.
No, the other British one. It was just a show, and it was another Sherlock, and they both played Frankenstein and the monster, and on different nights they would switch roles. But the makeup was very similar to this, but yet he had no hair. He looked like he was sewn up, and they would like walk around. Because I like the idea that he just kind of took one corpse and then took organs to help it. And not just, so it's like he reanimated a corpse, not just a bunch of separate body parts. I've always liked the idea that it was, one, he took better organs that were not as decomposed, or he had to put intestines together, and then one. So
I would have liked a few more scars.
Yes.
A few more scars. I do like that he does have hair.
Oh.
I
mean, I wouldn't mind if he grown hair.
If he grew hair.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Gru doesn't have hair.
I am Groot.
No, Gru.
Oh, Groot. Girls.
Gorls.
Sorry, I had to get a trash can from my nose. This is just a chaotic episode. You all can deal with it today. We love you so much. So you want the hair, and I do think
I like the hair. I like how he looks. I just think a few more scars, and I think I don't know. I want him to look a little bit more
like a monster.
Like a monster. Just a little bit. I still want the human-esque essence. Because in all honesty, like he is technically human, given that he is a human corpse brought back to life. Right? And so I like the idea of him looking human. And I think that's how Mary Shelley wanted him to look, was she wanted him to look human, but also look like he's been stitched together.
And I've always, like, there's so many questions about it, and not to get, like, way into it, but, like, did he give him working appendages? Like, there's so many things, because if you want a bride, was it actually, like, a man? Like, did it have... There's so many things that I've always wondered, like, did he just make him a Ken doll? Like, and I know that might be, like, a weird idea of it, but really, like, I find that that's kind of an important thing, because did Dr. Frankenstein truly make a man? Did he make, and I love that his name is Adam because Adam is the quote unquote first man. So I think that would have been cool.
Hmm.
And it would have been really cheesy if the doctor's name would have been Eve. I would have died, but no. Oh, and speaking of love interest, the two gargoyles that we meet with Adam the first time, and then later in the movie, they both die, and they're like, I wish to be together. And you're like, okay.
There was literally no connection
I
between the two
definitely would have
characters.
had that had of a build up. I definitely would have done that
Absolutely.
better. Or I don't think I wanted the gargoyles at all. I think I would have just had it been maybe like a cult.
Maybe not even a cult, but like I don't know, like the Knights Templar
Oh, well,
kind
I
of
mean,
thing.
that's
You
what I
know
mean by like a
mean?
cult is like a secret organization
Mhm.
that they are, and they could have been like the Order of the Gargoyles, and you're like, oh, like that would have been cool. Maybe there could have been like one or two gargoyles. They have like a specific spell that they can cast and be like, check this out.
Or maybe I don't know. It could have been.
I think the Knights Templar thing, they could have been following him for so
Uh-huh.
long, and then the Knights Templar could have ran into Dr. Frankenstein and been like, this is an abomination. And then, that there's so many things,
Yeah.
It could have been, this great organization that was really with God, and they see this abomination, quote unquote, that Dr. Frankenstein brought up, and they're like, this is blasphemy. Souls, the only souls that are going into that is demons, and like that could have been a better build-up.
Hmm.
But gargoyles? I think the Order of the Gargoyles would have been cool. You could have kept the symbol and everything. Sorry, you have a thought.
No, I agree. I think keeping the order of the gargoyles and maybe having um I do like the idea that maybe there are a few gargoyles and they could be angels that have been given a human body or given a body of some sort to help, and maybe those bodies have changed over time, to mirror forms of significance. Um, it could have been it could have been like a sphinx at one point,
Ooh.
or like a dragon maybe,
Ooh.
and then as time went on and as church leaders decided, hey, we're going to use gargoyles now.
Or even that's just how they just ended up looking in the end.
Yeah.
They could just be great protectors that God sent. They don't even need to be angels. They're basically just this guardians that they've been around for all of eternity throughout different cultures, and they've taken many shapes. So we see the beautiful jade dragons, the tigers in Chinese culture. We see beautiful statues from Africa. We see all these things, but we ended up here, and they became those. And we just see a gargoyle look down at Frankenstein. And you go, oh, and it would be cool if it wouldn't have been like a lot of them, but just that specific, like just all around the world where there's gargoyles. That's just their final look. That's cool, Tim. I really like that.
I like that idea, and that way we can.
And you can still have Templars.
We can keep the Templars. We could have. I think maybe keeping the Queen of the Gargoyles as a gargoyle who can change shape into a human could be kind of cool, because then she could be the only way that the gargoyles communicate with humans.
That's true.
Something like that.
She could be an angel.
She could be an angel.
One could be
I
cool.
thought she was.
And even like when she did become a gargoyle, I'm like, she was shining at one point. I'm like, she's an angel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be cool. She's like, this is my task while on Earth. I have,
and she could be in charge. She could still be the queen of the order of the gargoyles.
Yeah.
Of the gargoyle order.
Yeah.
That has a nice ring to it.
It
Queen
does.
of the Queen of the Gargoyle Order.
Something like that. I think it's pretty cool.
It's kind of cool.
I mean, that's basically what she was.
Yeah.
So I think so. You still want that character.
I still want that character. I think I want her. I also want her character to be a little bit more trying to convince Adam to help them to become basically inducted into into the Gargoyle Order.
Would you have made this modern day?
I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know.
so. You know, I think so.
I think it fits. The theme fits. It's weird
I would have made him stay with the order for a bit
and train.
and train, but then he left because he didn't feel
Mhm.
outcasted, and she became like a mother to him because who named him? The Queen of the Gargoyles. So I feel like I thought that was cool because she does get kidnapped in the movie, and
And he goes after
he
her.
goes after her, and Gideon gives up the Book of Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, as a trade so that they could get their experience. And it's just, oh, there's like there was two MacGuffins. Never have two MacGuffins.
No,
It's stupid.
keep
Only
one.
have one.
The book of Frankenstein needs to go.
Yep. It just
His journal.
the records were
his
destroyed by the
records.
Templars.
Mhm.
The only thing that can connect them is by studying Frankenstein.
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
I agree, and I think one way they could figure out how much electricity was used is they. I'm imagining they take a power
Taser?
tester.
Oh.
You know, the one like the little box with the two cables that go out that you can test your outlets with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm imagining they stick him with like an adapted version of those.
Oh, I'm doing the more awful track, and I imagine at some point the demons have him captured, split open, and he's still alive. And they're like, "How is he still alive?"
Mhm.
Well, let's shoot him with current and see when his heart stops. And they go, and his heart they kill Adam, and they go, "Huh. All right, let's reanimate him." And they just go until they find the sweet spot. Like, there it is. There it is. Great job, Adam. You've been a wonderful test subject. And they switch it, and that's when it goes to all the souls. Like, because I can imagine Bill Nye being that laughing, like, "There's the magic number, boy. Wow, no wonder you could survive this. Look at you go. Your father must be so proud." And just like turns in. You're like, "Oh, shoot." So, would you have the doctor?
No,
No?
no.
You didn't like Tara?
Oh, her. Yes, I would have her. I wouldn't have the secret doctor.
Oh, the guy, was he a demon? What was he?
I don't know. He was his
Was he supposed to be
role?
Igor? Like, if he would have been Igor that somehow lived 200 years, that's another thing. That would have been cool. Where
That would
was
have been
Igor?
cool.
There was no Igor mentioned. It was like, okay, was Igor even in the book?
No,
No?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So never mind. That's right. Igor's not in the book. No,
No.
Igor.
No,
Maybe
Igor.
that's all. I think that was the only reason for them having like an evil human. Was he a human or demon?
don't
Nothing
know.
was answered.
He was present for all of 5 minutes of the entire movie.
It basically felt like that. Does he need to be alive? No, like that kind of thing. He felt like the stupid doctor from Man of Steel. I was like, this character's kind of lame. So I think that it's like that right there just saves you so much. Just a more fleshed out beginning, gets inducted into this order.
Leaves the order because of Gideon. I think
Ooh.
I like the idea of a conflict between him and Gideon always talking about and maybe Gideon could be
You know
a
what?
higher just
Dude,
regular
change
human.
it to one of the archangels. Make Gideon one of the archangels. There's many.
No, because I still want him to be killed, and I don't want
Ooh,
Adam to kill an angel.
That's true. That's true.
But
well, the thing is,
I'm thinking
you would. I think this rule would still apply that you would ascend because it would just be a
Yeah.
angel in a stone
Yeah.
body.
I'm more imagining, these Templars, the order of the Gargoyle Order. They are humans who have been maybe blessed by the gargoyles with with extra strength, extra dexterity. And so when they die, they ascend,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I don't know, but I want Gideon to be like the highest order, the highest level
before
of
the archangels.
before everything else.
So I've kind of joked. I kind of joked about something,
Mm-hmm.
but I still think that ending would be cool because, yeah, I think that would be cool for him to be the level like right below, like even the queen of the gargoyles kind of looks at him like I probably should listen to Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe you could have the romantic thing with two of the Templars. I think that would have been a cute
I think it would
story
have been a fun, a cute side story that we can follow them
because they were still
from
forbidden
the
to be
side.
lovers. That'd be fun. And then when they die at the end of the movie, Frankenstein puts them together and they like die in each other's arms, and he's like, "You deserve better than this," and you're like, "Oh, that's so sad."
I like that, but I want more connection.
Yeah, more
I
connection.
want to see them fight alongside Adam. I want to see them
Become his
become his
companions.
companions. I want them to be part of his D&D party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but these are like the modern day ones, so maybe like their ancestors were the first two he met, and maybe it could be the same actors, blah blah blah. And then he meets them, and they go, and he like says their names, like those are our ancestors.
Well, maybe not. Maybe when you are blessed by a gargoyle, you have an extended lifespan.
Ah,
Something like that. And that could
maybe.
be explored. And it's been torture for them for the last 200 plus years, loving each other in secret and being forbidden to actually
So maybe
love.
they don't die, and then at the end of the movie, when the kind of the order is ended, if we do it that take,
Mhm.
then they get to live their own life. They finally get love, and Adam like blesses them to
Yeah.
do their own thing. Either way, I think that's still better than what we got with just we see these two gargoyles. We're like, oh, those guys are pretty cool,
And in the
and then
movie,
they just die. You're like,
it's like the one dude, I think his name was Ophir, right?
yeah, you had Ophir
And
and Kezia.
yeah, there was absolutely no connection, and
They just so
they
happen to
just
always be together.
existed, and it was almost like Adam was trying to be friends with Ophir and with Kezia, and like he kept calling after Ophir, don't leave me, give me a weapon to fight, etc. And it was like a forced relation, like a forced friendship almost that didn't deserve to exist because there was no base to support it. There was no foundation for that relationship, for that friendship.
Because there's the scene where Adam is imprisoned by the gargoyles because he went out blatantly, was killing demons. They pulled him aside, and then the demons happen to know that Frankenstein is in the castle, and they all attack. So it would be cool if like Adam returns because there seems to be like a price on his head. He's like, what is going on? And he ends up back at the Hall of Demons, and maybe even a gargoyle like lands and they don't speak, but it's just like, you wish for me to return home. And it's like I don't know, it's things like that. Like something to bring him back. And the queen of the gargoyles kind of gets all big and angry, like, where have you like reckless, killing out in front of so many people. Look at the stories written about you, and like all these things about this dark creature killing things and fighting. He's like, people are calling you a vigilante. Like maybe he's like become like a hero. I bet, like seriously, like things like that, just like ridiculous. She's like, look at what that Frankenstein's monster legend still lives. Look at you. Like it is just hilarious that like. And this one woman had the audacity to make a story about you and throws down the book. And he's like, oh, cool. Just things like that. And then they're like, something is coming. And the demons are planning something. And you are the key to it. We don't know what it is.
You are the MacGuffin.
You are the MacGuffin. Exactly. You are the MacGuffin, Adam.
Which he is.
He is. He should have been the MacGuffin. And they should have been like, he's like, I can defend myself, mother. Like something like, there's all like a sassy teen with the freaking emo hair. It's not a phase, mom. That was too perfect. But it would have been so much better to just have the guard, like the order, Be like, okay, and the thing is, it's just humans, maybe like a few gargoyles, and then um, Demi Archangel. Is that what we're gonna call Gideon? Because I definitely would want
I don't want him to be on the same
like just
level
like a
as the
tier
angels.
below, a tier below,
I want him to be maybe he could be
like a high priest or something.
maybe
What's some D&D thing? Come on.
maybe the gargoyle queen could be known called the voice of the gargoyles,
Yeah.
and um he could be so, I don't know.
I wouldn't mind them being in love. Well, like, but it's also
Maybe he likes her, but she's
no, 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 no. I was
I don't
that.
know.
There was
I don't want
some
them. I don't want them to be in love.
no,
I think that's too weird and awkward.
and hypocritical
Yeah.
because she is directly saying that this order has no, earthly attachments.
Well, and she's a gargoyle. Like she's a creation of God,
Yeah.
basically.
Just an angel put like as a makeshift guardian, and
Mhm.
I kind of like I don't. It's weird. Gargoyles are weird. Me and Tim do not know truly much about this sort of theology. Probably should have looked into it more.
I know how to use them in Dungeons and Dragons. That's about it.
There's gargoyles in D&D. Okay, okay, okay. The only gargoyle I think of, and he's not even a gargoyle. Every time I see gargoyle, I think of Etrigan, the rhyming demon from DC. He's one of my favorites. So when people are like, "Oh, gargoyles," I'm like, "Etrigan, gone, the form of man, come forth, the demon Etrigan." It's like, okay. Anyway, sorry, that was my little
No, you're good.
spiel. I love Etrigan. And I do love gargoyles. The only gargoyles I really know are from Hunchback of Notre Dame. And they ain't singing a guy like you in this movie, which I probably would have loved. Frankenstein walks in, a guy like you can summon demons. You can kill, I don't know. Sorry, you all get to hear my horrible sick singing. Even if was feeling good, it wouldn't be good. So it's all well and said. But I think that just making him the straight up MacGuffin, make him what they want.
No book.
No book, no nothing. Like they literally, I would have probably enjoyed him getting hunted down, and he's trying to get to the order. And then when he finally gets to the order, she's like, "You brought yourself here? We taught you better to stay in hiding. It's lovely to see you." But like, just like that kind of like, she's like, "It's good to see Adam." I would have rather have a connection that, she had a softness for Adam. Is that the right term? I don't know. She
Yeah.
learned to care for him, but Gideon was the pissed off stepdad who just didn't like him. Just like Kerchak from Tarzan. He's like,
Yeah.
"You can stay, but that doesn't make him my son." Just that would have been a cool dynamic. Because then that fight would have been because maybe the queen gets wounded. Maybe the queen does get kidnapped again. There's so many things we could have played with that. But the idea of him leading the demons to their headquarters, because it was like the where the demons were so close to where the gargoyles were, because Frankenstein, because Adam at one point,
Literally down the street.
yeah, Adam like leads the gargoyles because they're all angry. They're like, "We're gonna hunt him down," and then they chase him, and it turns out to be the headquarters of the demon prince's machine. And I was like, "This is so,"
And it was literally like
stupid.
2 blocks away.
And it's like,
And
really?
and a straight line and everything, and it's like, and they were all the gargoyles were surprised to find it, like they didn't know where it was, and it's like, what the heck?
See, I would have done that. It's in a totally different spot around the world, maybe on the same continent. I don't know.
I would have had them know about it. I would have had it be that it's downtown, so it's a half hour flight by gargoyle back, or something like
We're
that.
dropping the ring off.
I don't know. Yeah, airdropping Sauron's ring. Maybe a hour walk, march, half hour run to it. But it's well guarded, and Adam is like, "All right, we gotta we gotta finish this. We can finish this. We need to." They know how I work. They know how to create more of me. They're going to, and they're gonna raise an army, kind of thing. Maybe he learns, because I do like the idea of the army that is going to form if they fail.
Like, and it's been bodies that they've been storing for centuries. Like,
Centuries.
the hole is deep.
It's, yeah,
It's straight down to hell, apparently.
pretty much.
So I would have maybe had it in a different part of the world, because he even says that there
I
are
don't know.
many.
I would have had it. I would have had it been. I would have had it be just for kicks and giggles, downtown New York, kind of thing. Not actually New York, but like downtown in a city in the eastern United States, and the Gargoyle Order has set up their cathedral and all of their stuff close by, so
Well,
that they can keep an eye on the
And
demons.
the gargoyles can just fly, so maybe it's
Mhm.
like, oh, so is that why all gargoyles at cathedrals look the same? And she's like, yes. So maybe all the gargoyles have been watching, and they've been trying. So there's cathedrals all over the world. I think that we need to really implement the Doctor, because she was pretty cool. I like Tara.
I
So
like her.
I think if she was ambitious, like she really wanted this, they really stretched more of how bad she wants this, and maybe at the near the end, like they're talking about Frankenstein, and she's like, of course, and because she was very uh, pessimistic,
She's very skeptical.
skeptic about Frankenstein's monster, but she's like, oh, I would give anything. She's like, I have read countless stories. I have read Mary Shelley's work, but I have heard that there's something more to it. It has to be real. And the demon prince, could be like, well, if you were to receive this creature, could you study it? She's like, I would. Would you ever? And she's like, and he could have been asking like, if it were alive, would you dissect it? She's like, oh, there's nothing there. It's a monster. Like, I wish she would have been like, Frankenstein's monster is a monster.
Yeah,
I will cut it open. I don't care.
I would like that, and then it develop into
Uh-huh.
oh, those eyes have life. There is a soul behind those eyes.
There's
kind of thing.
something else. I'm doing something wrong.
And then she shuts down the program and stitches him back up, while Nibirius is out doing something. I don't know.
I imagine that I imagine she's like gung ho, but near the end, when she's cutting him up, like she has him cut open, and she's been trying so hard because she's like talked with it, knowing it. She's like, you understand that I will cut you up, like because when she first meets him, she's shocked that he can talk. She's shocked that it's alive, and all these things like step by step by step.
And she's shocked that it understands her. She's
Understands
shocked that it.
more and more and more.
Uh-huh.
And the Prince of Darkness is like, is this going to be a problem? And she's like, no, it will not. She starts having like, it's like a reverse Beauty and the Beast type thing. He's the prisoner. She's starting to warm up, that sort of thing. So it's like the still dynamic of Beauty
Yeah.
and the Beast type thing. I don't want to see them fall in love, but it's more of,
I don't either.
but she's going to learn to
Respect him as human rather than a monster.
he was made. Because I'll be honest, I would rather shoot a corrupt robot than I would Frankenstein's monster first. The robot's going to die first, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
No,
might
agree.
have a harder time with Frankenstein's monster.
because
Even though-
it's human. In all honesty, and I know we're getting into theology and ethics and all of that garbage, but like it's the age old question with the cloning, right? If you clone a creature, does it have a soul? Is it alive? Does it have the same rights that you do? And at that point,
Blade Runner.
it's alive. It is alive.
You should read Blade
Frankenstein's
Runner.
monster is alive, and therefore it should be treated as human. He is human. I'm gonna lay that down right now. Frankenstein's monster is human for a number of reasons. He's human because he is a human body, human organs, all of that stuff. None of him is artificial other than the stitches. The stitches is the only thing that's artificial. And I think, honestly, like the idea that maybe he's been pulling the stitches out as his skin's been healing, and those are just scars.
Oh. I like that.
I like that concept because that shows that he is alive.
Kind of like Kratos with his Blades of Chaos at the
Uh-huh.
end of the game. He just kind of lets him go.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And so there's that. He has intelligence. That is one of the big things that sets humanity apart from the rest of the animals and beasts and creatures in the world. We have a level of intelligence higher than anything else, for the most part. Obviously, other creatures can be super intelligent. Apes, super intelligent. They can play video games. They can learn how to cook. They can learn how to do all these different things. They can learn how to drive, right? But it's
No, llama,
easier.
no.
It's easier for a human to do that,
Yeah.
and we can do all of that collectively. We can speak. Parrots can mimic. They can't speak. They can't come up with their own sentences, sentence structures, but we can. Dolphins play games. They can get high. They do drugs
With the pufferfish.
with pufferfish.
Give me the pufferfish. I need it, man. You gotta do that pufferfish, man.
They do that, right? There's a level of intelligence there, but humans invent new games and they build upon that, and we create our own drugs to get
We've
high,
gone to the moon. We have made flight. We have done so many things.
right?
We are something. We are special, but we are also awful. And that is the wonderful
Yeah.
thing about Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, Frankenstein's monster fits that category of human, of being human, because he is intelligent. He is he comes from humanity. Yeah, he was conceived in a different way. He didn't grow in the womb in the traditional sense. His donor's body did, but his mind is different. His mind is separate, and that
Yeah, because
Just because
it's not like
different.
the reanimated body had memories of its past
No.
life. It was new.
it was new. In Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the beginning of the monster is as though he's a baby. He learns incredibly fast. He learns faster than a normal baby would. There's a part where he is learning how to talk, how to speak, and he's at a farm, and he watches through the window
Yeah.
as the children are reading their books and learning, and the mom is speaking, and they're having conversations, and he is putting together his own sentences, and he's learning.
It's like Meowth.
Yeah, it's like Meowth.
I totally didn't make that connection until just now. Like, wait a minute.
And it's he learned in a very similar way to that an actual human would learn. He's faster, he's stronger, and I don't know. I'm laying it down right now. He is human.
I
May
will
not
respect
have
that take.
He may not have a soul in the traditional sense, but I think what this movie was trying to get at, and it failed miserably, is that he is building his own soul.
He had every right to live.
Yeah. The soul of a person is just who they are.
Yeah.
Take away the body, take away the problems, take away everything. The innate substance of a person is their soul. Right? It's who they are as a person. And Frankenstein's monster is a person. He is unique. He has his own personality. He has his own character traits. He has his own flaws. He has his own strengths. He has all of that. And that gives him a soul. In a religious sense, maybe he doesn't
Yeah.
have a spirit, have a soul in the religious sense. But in any other sense, he has a soul.
I mean, I think of Iron Giant. The first time I was ever introduced to the talk of souls is Iron Giant. The giant is sitting with Hogarth, and he mentions souls, and the giant is like, souls? He goes, well, souls are what make up, as Tim said, are what make you. And when you die, souls don't die. And I think that's cool because many cultures have, like, Day of the Dead. It's a day of remembrance. The more you remember people, you have their memories, you remember who they are. It's kind of like that's their soul.
Thank you, Coco, for giving a very good view on how that works in the Mexican culture.
It was very wonderful. Loved it, and I love the idea that that's why we would for when loved ones moved on, we should remember them. They will be missed, but if we remember them, then we just remember the good times. And for those of you religious, you hope to see them again. And for those who aren't, you just hold on to those memories and cherish them and appreciate the good times. That got really weird, and that was a very deep tangent. We went a deep dive, but not as depresso espresso as I would think.
No. Well, and the whole point of that is I want the doctor to realize that as she's doing all these experiments, as she's figuring out how he came to be, I want her to realize, oh, he's human. He is not a monster. He's human. And maybe she's like, this is wrong. What I'm doing, experimenting on a living human being, is wrong. No matter how he came to be, he's still a person, and I shouldn't treat him this way. And maybe that's when she's like, okay, I've gotta fix this. She stitches him back up. Maybe Nibirius comes in and, why are you stitching him up? And she can be like, I'm finished with his insides. I want to see his outsides. Something like that. To get him to be like, okay, sure, whatever. And then I kind of want like a whole thing where she's talking to him, and they're having a conversation about like his interests, what he wants, and he can drop the whole I crave love, I crave a bride, someone like me that I can be with, as my creator has had his. And she can be kind of weirded out by that because she knows that he killed Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Right? And it can be this whole thing, and then I kind of want her to be like, okay, I need to get you out of here. We need to make it look realistic. I want you to basically escape.
I want you to break my neck. Wait,
I want
what?
you. I want you to knock me to the side. I want you to run. I want you to kill these demons. I want you. Maybe she doesn't know they're demons, but maybe she does. I don't know.
Nah, I don't think. I think she's been tricked. I think that she's been discovering it.
I like the idea that she doesn't know.
Yeah.
But she can be like, just get out of here, escape, make it look realistic. And he's like, that won't be a problem because I'm really gonna get out of here. And so he, throws her to the side, and she's like, that was harder than I wanted it to be. That hurts more than it should, kind of thing. And then he runs and is confronted by Nibirius. And
that's when I just imagined the whole, like, everything breaks and they're just surrounded.
Yeah. And I want him to pull out the fighting skills and just start wailing on people. And jump out the window and run, and then I want Nibirius to, he gets away, goes back to the Gargoyle Order, explains all the crap that's going on, explains what's happened, and maybe he discovers, while on his way, he discovers the building army. Right? And then he goes and tells people what's going on. In the meantime, I want Nibirius and the doctor to be having a conversation, and I want Nibirius to be saying, okay, you understand his insides, you understand his outsides. Can you replicate this? And she can be like, I've got to run a few more tests, but I think so. And she's hesitant. And maybe Nibirius is like, why the hesitation? And she can be like, there's just too many variables. Something like that. Trying to trick the demon, but he's not an idiot. He's not an idiot.
It's a demon. You can't really... it's very hard for a human to in my mind, it's very hard for a human to outsmart a demon. They're old. And to some people they are fallen angels, so it's like you don't get to just trick something so ancient.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I don't know. I think the idea that she is struggling internally with, he's human, but this is my life's work, but it's wrong. But again, this is my life's work. This is what I've been working on my whole life. Can I actually do this? Can I actually move forward with this?
Sorry, no, you go. What's your thought? Because I all of a sudden I had all these ideas just hit me, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, and I'm imagining that there's the big battle, and I want Nibirius to capture him again. I want Nibirius to be the one that's like, I've got you now. And he captures him, and the doctor needs to know how much electricity to use.
Okay.
And that's where we get to your electricity thing. And Nibirius takes Adam to her, locks him in, beats him up, that kind of thing. And she kind of looks at him and says, I'm sorry, and then pulls the switch. I'm imagining it's a big like breaker switch, like you see in the movies, and the electricity comes in, and she's just, and the sidekick scientist dude is like, I'm increasing voltage, to see what it takes to restart his body. Maybe Nibirius caught on, killed Adam. Killed Adam, rose him onto the table.
That is exactly what I've been thinking. Like I imagine that at one point. I'm glad you find. I was like, okay, because I imagine he brings him forward, or even, let's say, this is what I'm kind of thinking. So at one point when they're having this conversation, he gives her the like a symbol of the order. It says, wear this around your neck and you'll be protected. She goes, what? I don't believe in that kind of stuff. And he's like, don't worry, it's not a cross. It's a whatever. Just wear that around your neck. You'll be protected. I swear it. And she's like, okay, whatever. And just want that to kind of lay in your head for now, And then she's like, this is wrong. I have to let him go. This is Frankenstein's monster. And the part where like, okay, well, make it look good. He's like, okay, like slaps her across the room. She's like, and then like he breaks out, gets surrounded, gets cornered, gets grabbed, and then more the demon prince like, well, this is awkward, and he's like, well, I was surprised, Dr. Tara, but this is what was to be expected. I mean, he is rather handsome, and just kind of like teases on that. But anyway, point being, he's like, are you ready for the final test? Like, this could be the part where he reveals what he is, because he gets angry, like, I need this now, and like transforms.
Just his eyes.
Yep, just his eyes. Just his eyes. Like, I'm sick of waiting. I need this now. And she's like, well, look, I need to learn what it takes to reanimate a corpse. I don't have a dead body. Morbius.
Morbius.
It's Morbid time. Gosh dang it, Tim.
Sorry.
We still need to do that movie soon. But Nibirius goes, okay, and he turns around, Mortal Kombat style, rips his heart out. Adam is shocked, throws it on the ground. Okay, maybe not his heart, but you know what I mean. Just does something, like just the dramatic turnaround. We see his arm move forward, his eyes pop out, the dramatic music swells. Like, no! And then throws him on the floor. There you go, a dead body. Reanimate that. And look, it's Dr. Frankenstein's creation. It can take the voltage. And we're like, oh my gosh. And where am I supposed to get? Like, she's like, I need bodies. No, that won't be a problem. Claps sent, brings in like a morgue. Do whatever you need. Dr. Frankenstein did it, and he did it with a nasty graveyard. Here are the most fit bodies we could find. And you're like, oh shoot. shows her working on him. This is where we're kind of seeing more of actually getting the insides. And she's like, all right, I have everything out. Don't stitch him back up. It's fine. It's fine. And then you get that whole scene of, all right, let's begin. Starts reanimating. And he's watching the numbers. And there it is. And I imagine he kills the henchman. I just imagine right then and there, just so excited, doesn't care. There it is! And just rips, like, just breaks his neck. And she's like, oh! And that's when maybe you can have the full-on demons. But anyway, something like that.
I think I want her to stitch him back up.
You want to stitch back
I
up?
want him to be stitched back up. And
Because he needs to be able to fight.
Maybe Nibirius doesn't want him to be stitched up, but she's like, I need it stitched up so that the electricity conducts itself the right way. Something like that.
So my final, so the kind of the last thing I imagine is she's got the necklace on, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he gets brought back, he's like mumbling to her, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, and Nibirius is in the corner, like, "I'm going to get my demon army, going to get my demon army." Like he's just in a giddy mood.
Maybe not giddy. Maybe he's monologuing to the window.
Yeah. So something like that. And I just imagine he's like, window. And she's like, what? Window. And you're like, what is going on? And, you know, he turns around and goes, Dr. Tara, I thank you so much for your help, but your services no longer be required. And fill in A or B, I imagine she just jumps out the window. Or either gets thrown out, but since she's got the protection, a gargoyle saves her and brings her back to the order.
Here's what I'm imagining, because I'm imagining all of this.
Because she's gonna be. So here's. I'll say this really quick so that maybe you can add it to yours, or just have a food for thought. I just imagine Tara is what. She is the reason that, the order comes, because they don't know where he is.
Okay.
Maybe they really don't know, and Tara is brought. Because the gargoyles watch all over the world. They can feel those symbols. And she's the reason of where they're brought. She knows where it is. She knows what's happening. And now, since they found the voltage, he's going to get hooked up to the proper machine and just made into a conduit kind of thing. Because they said that he has so much life in him. So maybe, yeah.
Here's what I'm imagining. Because I'm imagining that he discovers that Adam discovers the army, and he was captured once before, and he escapes, and then he goes back and he's like, we need to finish this now.
Okay.
They're going to reanimate legions of demons. We need to finish this.
That was a good use of that word, Tim.
So he goes, he basically leads all of them to the demon's lair, and that's when Nibirius comes in, basically swoops in, grabs him, while all the gargoyles and the order of the gargoyles are fighting against the demons. This is the final battle.
Yeah.
Nibirius comes in, swoops in, and takes him, gives him to Dr. Tara, and says, figure this out. And that's when we get the whole, she learns how to reanimate him, that kind of thing. And then she has the necklace, and I'm imagining he reanimates, and Nibirius is looking out the window, monologuing, as he's watching the army, his army fight the gargoyles. And I'm imagining that Adam reaches out his hand and says, pendant, necklace.
Oh.
And so she takes it off, hands it to him, and he, in blinding speed, runs up and does. I like the idea that Nibirius is killed by 3 or 4 separate slashes with creating that symbol.
Because that symbol is what kills the demons in this movie.
Yeah. So, and he's a demon prince, right? Like he's got to be way more powerful. He's not just going to be killed by a single, bullet to the brain kind of thing. But I'm imagining that Adam goes in and swipes one to the side on his back, 2, 3, and he's about to go down when Nibirius turns and smacks him aside, and the pendant goes flying. And I want and here's what I'm thinking, what I'm imagining is he's towering over Adam, and he starts monologuing to Adam about how um, Adam will be the instrument of the demise of humanity.
You will be the instrument to the demise of humanity.
Exactly. And monologuing, and all of a sudden he starts to burn. And he looks down, he's freaking out, what's going on? And you see Dr. Tara behind holding the pendant.
I am no man.
I am no man. No, it's a different actor.
Oh well.
But she
Same
has,
vibe. Same
she
vibe.
has finished the symbol.
Oh.
She has done the final slash down his back, connecting the 3 lines across, creating the symbol of the order. And Nibirius sprouts wings, and I want him to be the only demon that sprouts wings. I want him to sprout wings, and maybe his wings are already out, and he's been monologuing and gesturing with his wings and his hands, and then he just, he takes flight, and he starts cursing them and saying, "This is not the end." The cliche, "This isn't the end of me." And Adam grabs Dr. Tara and jumps out the window, and they're caught by a gargoyle and fly away. Maybe not. Maybe not that. Actually, I kind of liked the final ending. But I'm thinking, yeah, and this is where the final end of the movie can actually happen, what we actually saw. We have the Gargoyle Queen down underneath, destroying everything, and then down comes Nibirius's soul, and she pushes through, and she grabs Dr. Tara and Frankenstein's monster in the hole and flies them out, sets them down, and then we can maybe end the movie with Dr. Tara being like, if you really want a bride, I will make you one. And maybe we can have it end 2 different ways. I don't know. The first ending I'm thinking of is he agrees and he says, if that's going to happen, let's go to a remote corner of the world so that I'm not chased down anymore, hunted, and I can live with her in peace.
And it can fade to black, or we can actually do it, and then or just something cheesy, says something cheesy, and he's like, well, I think I'd rather want to be alone with her, and it shows, and that sounds kind of funny, but it just cuts to months later, and it shows gargoyles flying over an area, just this remote area, could be where even in the Arctic, and it just shows this couple on top of a iceberg just chilling.
I'm imagining more,
or even just a cabin in the woods.
I'm imagining he builds a castle with her, and it's classic Gothic style castle, and you see a couple gargoyles on the castle. And leaves you wondering, are the gargoyles now there to protect him, or is he protecting them? I don't know. That's what I'm imagining. And Dr. Tara is doing her own thing now, and maybe now maybe when he's doing the outro and he's talking, he says something to the effect of, Dr. Tara decided, instead of reanimation of corpses, she'll take her studies to the medical field and help those who are.
Well, that's kind of what it was. She's she's finally getting to cure diseases and
Mhm.
help not even like reanimate, but to sustain life, not create life, but to sustain it,
Yeah.
help us live longer. Imagine like just the big reveal that it's actually an archangel in that
Well, and
body.
you called it early on in the movie, and then you were so disappointed when it wasn't.
I was like, oh, because I'm like, he has to have a soul, because
Mhm.
that's like what they're leading at. So whose soul is it? What soul would go into this
I'm
creation?
thinking it can be explained that he basically gave himself a soul,
Yeah,
kind of thing. Like he realized, okay,
he fought for others.
I am human.
Yeah.
I am human.
I think,
I have a
therefore I
soul.
am.
Yeah, exactly.
He fought for others. He did what was right. He made mistakes, but he didn't know any better back then. He was just this mindless creature, but over time and defending humanity, he learned to have a soul, and I think that is a justifiable cause. I do think it would be cool that if it was an angel to some degree, it doesn't have to be an archangel, but just that an angel came and was put into this creature, and it would have been cool. But that's a whole lot of things, a whole lot of theologies. A lot of people probably pissed off. People were already pissed off at this movie anyway.
Mhm.
But I do like the idea that Frankenstein's monster gets his happy ending, gets his bride.
Yeah.
Just something very simple, and it could even start with him writing a book, and it literally could start with him starting with I, Frankenstein, and he doesn't have to say it, but he just writes it in a journal. He starts his father, he starts his legacy, and he starts to talk about it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
But he doesn't have to sit there broodingly looking down, awkwardly be like, "Oh, Frankenstein." You're like, "Oh, gross." But just writing it in a journal would have been more sense. Like Bilbo, like at the end of his story, he wants to write what he's done, what he did, clear up the air about the thing, and he took his father's name. I like that he was like, "I will take my father's name upon me." So, Adam Frankenstein. I love it. So, but I, Frankenstein. And it's like shows him starting, because it makes no sense, the title of this movie. I'm like, why does it mean? So does he accept the name? What does it mean? So, yeah, I think that's
as good as we're gonna get for this.
the
movie.
thing is, though, that was an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and that was pretty good for this crazy run of a day. And again, I'm sorry if it was all chaotic. It's just, we were like, let's just tough through it.
Mhm.
I want to get it over with. And honestly, I wanted to do it while the movie was still fresh in her head. So, yeah, sorry, I'm like halfway yawning and halfway not. Ugh.
Yeah. If you guys stuck around for the entire thing, thank you. Like Willem said, we know that it was a little chaotic, and this movie was absolute garbage. It was hot trash, for sure.
That's why these episodes are fun to me, because I'm always like, we could end the episode right now because we just talked about the movie and talked about a few things we could fix. But going into it and getting excited, I would watch that movie.
Yeah.
I would have. A movie about Frankenstein in the modern day, and he fights demons. Oh, and there's something, and the idea that demons are gonna try to copycat his thing and put souls inside of him. That's why I really want him to have an angel inside of him, because they were claiming that something has to go in. But I think the idea that he
grows his own soul,
it works. So yeah, because if a demon would have been there, his creation would have hopped in, would have ascended. It was the idea that he could have been a conduit for either good or evil. That's very interesting, because that's the whole concept of life. Are you going to be a conduit or good or evil? Well, you're probably going to be a conduit of both, because no one is perfect.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to at least read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein once in their life. It is amazing.
It is a fantastic story, and yeah, it's old. But yeah, it's a good book. It's a really good story, and yeah, it's even though it is a really old story and really old book, it still holds up. Like, the story is still told today, and Frankenstein is one of the most iconic monsters out there. You think of a monster, a classic monster, and you think of either Dracula, Frankenstein, or the werewolf.
Yep.
Those are the top three.
Top three, easily.
And I think Frankenstein is the top of those.
We
three.
definitely should talk about Dracula someday.
Mm-hmm.
There's some awful vampire movies. No, we will not do Twilight.
Nope. Unpopular opinion, the books are okay. The movies sucked.
Damn, how dare you? We're going to get canceled now.
I met the author. So,
Really?
Uh-huh.
And how'd it go?
She's really cool.
She's
really
She's
cool.
a very sweet lady.
She's really, really cool.
You'd rather have met Brendan Sanderson, though.
I've met him as well.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
I live in Utah. Of course I've met Brandon
Of
Sanderson.
course I've met him. I live in Utah. I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. Anyway.
I'm not sure I want to be that
I
anymore.
don't want that anymore. Well, everyone, we thank you for coming to this chaotic episode, and it's stitched up together. Not very pretty, but guess what? It's about Frankenstein. So, you know what? It works. It works for a complex, broken character. So I think it's a fun episode. It reflects the story very well. And if you guys have any thoughts or any questions, comments, concerns, rages, we'd love to hear you out on any of our social media pages. And we'd love to hear you out on email at hearmeoutpitch@gmail.com. Again, that is hearmeoutpitch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys for sticking around for the whole episode if you have. Hopefully you can figure out what makes you, just like Frankenstein was able to. And hopefully we'll be able to figure out what makes these movies as terrible as they are and fix that.
Yep. We're going to reanimate some corpses, y'all. It's going to be
Yeah.
great.
That's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, it is. We are Frankenstein.
But until next time, we will see you later pitches.
Okay, bye.